So unfortunately, it looks like an airstrike and even a war is imminent, and it's not being reported much at all. That's strange. Of course, it's dividing the Trump base again, and so we'll just have to see what happens with that. And then, of course, on Saturday, there's the pro-Second Amendment rallies, and they've picked up a whole lot of traction. Probably because, like I said, the Second Amendment is actually under attack, and they actually started the confiscations that everybody said would never happen. They'd never take the guns, and it's jolted people since they see that that's what they're doing. And so that's another thing that hasn't been picked up on at all, really, by anyone. And yesterday, InfoWars had this person filling in, and he was just kind of fumbling around. He hadn't done it much, I don't think. He was trying, but somebody called in the show and talked about this, because the guy was talking about how people have to get out and participate instead of just watching, and that they should have events of their own and plan stuff and put flyers out for it, and basically he was describing this, and somebody called in and said that, yeah, we have that for this weekend at 2 Eastern. We're having all these rallies. And then the guy said, oh, that's good. It could be a good idea to put a few Facebook pages together and a few things on social media about it. Well, there's already at least 60 pages. Each state has one, and then a few more. And they've been up for a while. It has all the information. These are well organized. They have speakers. They have some of them you're able to get permits for, and some not, but there's the right to assemble. And they probably won't do anything about hundreds of people getting together, maybe thousands. And also, if they do, by that time, it will already have shown all the people there. The people that bring their flags and them signs and whatnot, they'll know why they're there, pro-Second Amendment. So if the news does come and film it, they'll already film it. They'll already have them all there before they get dispersed, if that happens. And so it is well organized. And it was started by a guy in Virginia, and from a coalition, a pro-Second Amendment coalition. And then this other guy in a different state called in to talk about it. And then, so it's too bad that it wasn't one of the regular people on there. But now that it's out there, hopefully they do pick up on it. That's something that they should film. They film stuff like that. And InfoWars, that everybody says it's fake news and such, it picks up on a lot sooner than what other channels do. And it gets it right a lot of the times. And then it reports more what happens rather than just the opinion, because these days what news is, it's whoever is reporting it, it's their opinion. So they follow an agenda, of course, but it's really whoever's opinion right at the time. And so that's what it's good to have the alternative media too, to get a better perspective. And with this, it's picked up, like in some places they had to move them from the original spot because there were too many people saying that they'd go, and there's a whole lot of interest. It's a very unreported huge event, and hopefully as many people do go as say that they're gonna go. And because it's never really been that urgent before, or it should have been, but it's one of those things, and now that it's shown up, all these extra regulations and further infringement has shown up, people, they got jolted where before they didn't really know what to do, and all they want to get out too. And so, I mean, that's good. It's good to see people still have that kind of spirit, and so that should be nice. And for Facebook, I got banned from Facebook on Saturday for 30 days after that religion that hasn't been so peaceful for the past thousands of years. They attacked once again in Germany, and I commented that, well, that they should deport all those refugees, and this won't happen. This didn't happen before they brought everyone in and flooded it. And so not 2 minutes later, they sent this message saying that I was making people feel unsafe, and so they had to have this 30-day ban. And it's not the first time or anything. After you get a few 30-day bans, they take your page out completely. And so I made another one. It's the third page I had. And the second one they deactivated because they said that they wanted a photo ID in order to get back into it, and they didn't want to send them one, so that had gotten deactivated. And now this one. But it must be keywords that they pick up on, since it's so quick. Maybe keywords in the same sentence, or else somebody got offended instantly and reported it, and someone just happened to be there checking out and they saw it right away. It could be that. I don't know what it is, but I mean, you can't criticize that non-peaceful religion at all. They say, who rules over you by who you can't criticize, and that them especially, or really anyone who gets offended. Anyone on the left gets so offended so easily. But them, I mean, these attacks, they happen so much that they don't get reported that much either. And partly because it wouldn't fit the agenda to report them. They need unrest, and that's exactly what these guys bring. And also, when something happens so often, it's not even hardly news anymore. And just like in London with that mayor, he said that he's banning knives now because there were 13,000 knife crimes last year, but 11,000 of them were by the Muslims, and they've only gotten there in the past few years. And so it's just that it's changed a lot since that. When a lot of refugees flood a place, it's bound to change its culture. I mean, places can't handle that quick of a change and still sustain who they are, their sovereignty. But anyone points that out, I mean, it doesn't end well for them, because that's just, as I say, it's not part of the globalist agenda. You can't have control over countries if they are free, if they have it all together, if they don't have crime, if they don't have all this culture clash. And so they're ridiculously politically correct. The Muslims are ridiculously violent, and they're taking away the weapons from the native citizens to fight back. And that's one thing that people need to see here, so that doesn't happen here. I mean, taking away guns and importing a lot of angry refugees, that's just not something we need, but that's something that they're more than willing to do. But luckily there's so many Americans that even they point out in other countries that over here people have that spirit more, and people are more aware, so that it's harder for stuff like that to happen. So it's nice to see that a lot of people still have that kind of spirit where it won't happen, because once you let in a small percentage of those people, it all changes, and they have their own laws, and somehow they get away with it. And it's just like the Crusades, that they were a response to them. They were a response to these guys terrorizing for so long, and then there was finally pushback. So I wonder if that's what it's going to be again. It's going to wait until you get to the brink, and will it be too late? It looks too late now, because I imagine people weren't so docile back then. I mean, the political correctness has gotten people, it's gotten them into such submission that they were so afraid to say anything that now it just comes natural where they don't say anything. And you can tell, like when you talk online, like on Paul Joseph Watson's page, you can almost tell what country people are in by what they write, even though everybody writes English, but you can just like tell who's an American and who's not, because the ones that aren't, they're saying, oh well, we're afraid to be called racist. And over here it's just kind of like, you got to protect your country. You're not afraid of little words. They make it seem like the majority is, because they prop them up, they advertise them. I mean, they cheat in elections to get them in, but most people aren't. Most people are more aware than what they want us to be. And they try their best to ban, just like they banned Diamond and Silk also from Facebook the other day, a big crackdown. And so that made the news. And they said and even the alt-right, which is another version, kind of like the alt-right but a little different. They're more like libertarians, and that's more like what InfoWars and what Paul Joseph Watson is, more libertarians. And so they were saying that they got Diamond and Silk off because they're these conservative black women. And no, they didn't kick them off of Facebook at all because they were black. I mean, that they shouldn't play the race card. That's what the left does. They threw them out because of those views and because enough people watched them. They threw a lot of people off. They had me off on that same day. It's not because of someone's color. They're adding to that friction when they give them all this attention and say it was because of their color when it wasn't. And it wasn't because they're females. A lot of males get banned for saying those same views too. It's just because they support Trump. Just like for a while on Twitter they banned Roseanne because she supports Trump. And then they tried to say it was a mistake later because there was so much backlash. And hopefully that happens also with them, because they have a right to speak. We all do. And so nobody should get banned. No one should get banned from there because of their views, but then you shouldn't add more fuel to the fire by adding on to why they got banned. Everyone knows that you support Trump and you get banned. And so that's that culture war. It's hard to win that. It's hard to win back, but hopefully that the right realizes that they do have to use some of those leftist tactics, that they see how they're winning, even though it looks silly that they're winning like that. And so maybe it's a start by having these rallies, by having voter registration, by having buses come in, by having people gather together like-minded, just because it's even reassuring when you see so many people in person that are like-minded, because you're always told there aren't many. And there are a whole lot more than you think. And a lot of them, they're just not boisterous. A lot of them are just going on with their everyday lives and unfortunately not paying so much attention, so they don't really know what's going on. They don't know the magnitude of this, and some are just too busy, and some are living the American dream, and it's more variety than that, than what's on the left, than just a bunch of social justice warriors wanting socialism and such. It's more complex on the right, which is partly why they don't do that, but maybe they're starting to do that a bit because they're seeing how successful that was over there. And so hopefully this Saturday's rallies will be successful around, and that afterwards that they'll have more of those types, those constitutional rallies. They're easy enough. And so we'll see what happens with this one and with all that's going on. Till next time.